Mother, dear mother, could we talk, you and I? When I look down from heaven, sometimes I see you cry. I want so much to hug you, then as tight can be, because I think these tears you shed are sad, sad tears for me. Dear mother, I forgive you. Oh, please believe I do. It must have been so difficult, so very hard for you. They told you things would be all right, your life would just go on, but they never said how much you'd weep and grieve when I'd be gone. Yet we can still be very close and love each other too. For though I'm now with God, I'll always be a part of you. So mother, won't you name me, please, and from my home above, I'll hear you and I'll come each time you call to me with love. I'd like to be the faithful friend in whom you can confide, your sentinel before God's throne, the angel at your side. So talk to me and sing to me and pray with me, please do. And when you send a smile to me, I'll send one back to you. So please don't be sad, dear mother. You'll be just fine, I know. For I'll be there in spirit wherever you may go. And when God brings you home to me, my heart will know true bliss as I run up and greet you with a great big hug and kiss. Your child. My story starts when I met my boyfriend in the summer of 2007. The relationship started off too quickly. It got really serious really quick. We started having sex almost from the beginning of the relationship, and in December of 2007, I started feeling really sick all the time. Then I realized that I hadn't gotten my period, and it had been 2 weeks since I should have gotten it. So one Sunday afternoon, I asked that we would go pick up a pregnancy test, and he threw a fit. He didn't want to get it. He was saying, you know, it's not a big deal. You're not pregnant. There's no way you're pregnant. He would go on and on about that. And finally, I just took my own car and went to Walmart and bought one because I felt like I had to know. I didn't want to just be in this feeling where I thought I was, but I didn't know. So I drove to Walmart, I bought one on my own, and I came back to his apartment and I took it. And I left it in the bathroom and just went upstairs to hang out with him, and I just kind of forgot about it for a little while. And then he went downstairs and found it. And when he found it, he came upstairs and brought it to me and said, what does this mean? And I looked at it and I said, I'm not sure because I don't have the paper in front of me, but I'm pretty sure this means I'm pregnant. And he just got mad at me. So the next day I went to the Pregnancy Care Center in Stephenville, and I spoke to one of the counselors here, and they also had me do a pregnancy test. And everybody here was so sweet and very welcoming and very kind, and the counselor answered all my questions very truthfully and very honestly. I asked her if she had ever gotten over her abortion, because she had opened up to me and told me she'd had one. And she told me she still struggled with it, and it had been something like 35 years since she'd had one. So it really touched me that she was able to open up and be truthful with me, and she didn't sugarcoat anything. And my boyfriend was just telling me, you're stronger than that. That's something that a weak person experiences, that depression and things like that. You won't go through that. And he kept telling me that the Pregnancy Care Center was trying to trick me into keeping my baby. So he just kept saying, we'll have a real baby someday. This isn't the right time. Someday we'll have a real baby, as if this baby wasn't real. And I was terrified. I'd never even had minor surgery done. The most I'd ever had was a cavity filled. The idea of having a surgical abortion was terrifying. And we didn't have the money for it right away, so I was pregnant for 2 full weeks and knew about it. And the whole time I knew how it was going to end. And it killed me to see my parents and to go visit my mom at work and go home and see them and have this huge secret that I felt like I couldn't tell them. I only told one friend. She pretty much just said, oh, you'll be fine, just get into counseling right away. It'll be okay. And she kept telling me that her sister had had an abortion and that her sister was okay, and now she had a real baby. That term tended to pop up a lot when you talk to people that are pro-choice. that a real baby will come someday. After 2 weeks, we finally had the money to be able to afford it. And the night before I went to get the abortion, I stayed the night at my boyfriend's apartment, and I distinctly remember laying in bed and crying and putting my hand on my stomach and apologizing to my baby and saying, I'm sorry, I don't know what else to do, I'm sorry. And I prayed that God would accept my baby into heaven. So I just felt trapped. And we had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to drive to Fort Worth because we had to be at the clinic at like 6 o'clock in the morning to check in. So we got up and we drove to Fort Worth, and it was really cold because it was the middle of December, and I had a big sweater with a big hood on top. And so we were pulling up to the clinic, and there were all these protesters outside, probably 10 or 15, and they were all men, not a single woman among them. And it was in a bad part of town, and they all had signs, and this one man had a camera, a video camera, and they were yelling things like, come to us and we'll help you, we'll save your baby, we'll take your baby. They kept telling all the people that were going in, come to us, turn away from the building, that kind of thing. And I was so scared to go in, but my boyfriend wouldn't come with me. And I just sat there and I begged him. I said, please come with me. I can't go in like this. I can't do it. These people are yelling at me. I don't know what to do. And finally I ended up getting out of the car, and I threw my hood over my head and just ran.